And he just always made me feel good about myself, you know, and I loved that. And my mother was serious. She didn't have that sense of humor. John, our son John, has my dad's personality, and so that's so I had a pretty nice life. And then at 7, they divorced. They were too young. They were 20 when they got married, and my dad went to college, left my mother, and they lived with my grandmother, but they weren't divorced.
Yeah.
But after he went to college, then he realized at 20 he was too young to get married.
Yeah.
And so they divorced. But he used to come every summer and Christmas. But the thing you should never do, you should never sneak away from your child when you're leaving.
Oh no.
Say goodbye. Don't have your child
have
wake up
courage.
and find they're gone.
Yeah.
I told one of our kids that once. That don't do it. Do not do it, even to the dog. But anyway, I grew up. My mother worked hard to support me, and I don't know.
What's your first memory of Chic sitting next to you?
Chic. My first memory of Chic is when he was 1 or 2 days old.
Really?
Yeah, little rascal.
I don't remember that.
He was a cute little thing here.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Now, come on, was. I still am. Was. Get out of here.
Yeah. I don't know how much.
I had to say that.
I don't know how much you weighed. Do you know?
I don't.
When you were born?
I don't know.
It might be one of you three.
Chic, was he born at home?
No. I was a normal size.
He was born in someone's house.
He was born in a house,
In
just
the
like my
neighborhood.
mom, right?
Yeah.
You were no hospital, nothing like that.
No.
Yeah.
Born in a house in New Palestine.
Wow.
I was born in a house in Fountaintown. Neither one of us in hospitals, you know.
Didn't
Well, I was with
didn't
we didn't
Elsie
even have
play?
a doctor when I was born.
Didn't Elsie play the violin in the symphony in Indianapolis?
My mother, no.
Huh? She played the
She played
violin.
in
Played
an
the
orchestra.
Played the violin.
She
yeah.
played the violin in the orchestra.
But she didn't
I
play the
remember as a
orchestra.
little kid seeing Elsie's violin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
We
the
still have
closet.
it.
I never
Yeah.
saw her play.
We've got that violin,
Really?
Chic. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
you know, when I was a kid, you still got that table. That pedestal comes
Yes.
out of that table. I remember when I was a kid taking that pedestal out
Yes.
of that table.
So good to all her nieces and nephews.
Oh, yeah.
She,
And sisters and brothers.
her sisters and brothers. You know, so you know, Chic. I'm so proud of Chic because I knew him when he was naked.
Want a preview?
And
Okay.
You know,
I didn't see that
I'll tell
coming.
you.
Oh, I did. I saw it coming.
Miriam's mom was the matriarch of the family.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was.
She
Yeah.
really was. I mean, anybody that needed any sensible advice, they went to Aunt Elsie because she had it. She seemed to have more sense than the rest of them all put together.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. My mother was fantastic.
Yep, she was a nice lady. She was kind of like my second mother.
She was.
Yeah. Anytime my mother got in a pinch, she'd go run to your mom.
And she would tell your mother, okay, knock it off. You know,
Yeah,
let's settle down a little bit here, because his mother was very young, probably 17 or when he was born, 17 or 18.
Yeah.
So we both have that background in common. So we both turned out all right.
Yep, I think your mother helped raise us both, Miriam.
Yeah, she did.
And the first bicycle I ever had was Miriam's bicycle.
Yeah.
It was a
Aw.
girl's bicycle.
Aw.
And it was black with white stripes down the
Right.
fender, and there was lacing on the back fender so your skirt wouldn't get caught in the wheel.
Did
That was your.
did your skirt get
Did they
Never
call
did,
you?
not once.
Did they call you sissy when you rode it? Sissy.
I tell you what, I wasn't real happy to be riding a girl's bike, but it was a bicycle, and that's
Yeah.
all I had.
That's true. That's true.
We lived down the street from Bluestein's Market.
Bluestein.
Yeah, right.
Sam
We lived
Bluestein.
on one end, and you guys lived beyond the market on the other side. Yeah.
And I'd go to that grocery. My mother would send me for something to buy $25 worth, 25 cents worth
Oh, I was
of,
gonna say,
of round steak for dinner. That's 25 cents worth for a piece of round steak.
Small bag.
And
Wow.
and what else? Maybe two things: round steak
Potatoes?
and something else. I remember.
Potatoes, maybe?
Huh?
Potatoes?
Yeah.
You know, the earliest I remember going to the store was my mother giving me a ration coupon, and you could buy meat. You had to have ration stamps for sugar,
Yeah.
and what else? Coffee. You couldn't buy tires. Women couldn't buy nylon socks.
No.
That was
the war.
during the war.
Yeah, and I was. That's
were
the
younger.
Yeah, that's the first I remember of going to the store and buying something with a ration book.
That was the Second World War.
So
Yeah.
what year would that be? 1940,
41. Well, I graduated from high school
41,
in 43.
40.
41, 40?
41.
It had to be 43, 44,
Yeah.
45.
You had
somewhere in
the
there.
stamps for buy gasoline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Grandpa Westlake was the one that doled out those ration coupons. If you were a farmer, you got more fuel
Yeah.
because you had to run your tractor.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and feed the country.
And our grandfather, we had the same grandfather. He was the rural mail carrier,
Mm-hmm.
and it was during the war. And if the serviceman, if there was a letter for that family in the farm, because he had the route in the farmland, they had to drive from place to place. If it was that their son, from their son, he would go drive right up to the house or get out and walk up to the house to give them that letter.
Yeah,
And that was a gesture, wonderful gesture.
yeah.
So
It really mattered.
things like that I just remember. And then I happened to be, when I was flying for TWA, I happened to go I was based in New York, and I happened to go to Indianapolis on a layover. I was there 2 days, and my pop, we called him, he had I don't know if it was a community meeting. What was something?
Lions Club.
Liars Club.
Lions.
Lions.
Not Lions. It probably was Liars Club.
Liars.
I like the liars better.
The Lions Club. And darn him, he said, would you please go with me to this luncheon? It happened to be the day I was there. And I was so embarrassed. He pulled me in there, and you'd have thought I was just signed by Hollywood.
Yes.
Because
That was the whole
stewardesses were, that
Glamorous.
common.
Pretty
Yeah.
unique. Yeah, darn right.
But I remember I was so embarrassed, so I always made a point that he didn't know when I was going to be in
Yeah.
town if I had a layover in
Right.
Indianapolis. But that was our grandfather
Yeah.
during the war. I mean, so
There must have been really difficult times. I mean, that's an understatement, obviously, but to think about that.
yeah.
Because I was born in 41.
Well, I was born in 25.
Yeah.
Ken was born in 21.
21.
Yep.
1921.
Oh, I know.
Not 18.
Not 18, 20.
I thought it was 18.
Sure, Daddy, sure.
I may look like it, but I don't know. Well,
No,
You're on.
Ken was pretty sweet.
you gotta give me a.
Oh, yeah.
Had to cook a noon meal for all those
Yeah.
people threshing, all those men coming in,
A lot of
And
work.
the kids laugh when I tell them what a stove was like. You couldn't just turn it on and control
No,
it.
no.
No.
To
You
throw
had to
coal
feed
in
it.
it with a
You
coal
had to
stove.
feed it.
And
Grandma-
yeah, with a stove,
Yeah,
with,
Grandma had a coal stove.
oh, she did?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
put
I think
coal
we
in it.
probably did too.
I
That's what-
remember hooking in as a little kid. I was fascinated.
Oh, a handle.
Yeah, put it in and actually pick the top off.
Well, yeah, it would take a big steel burner out, or you could come back one and pick it up and take 2 burners out. Not a burner, but a big steel plate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd see Grandma get up in the morning before Pop ever got out of bed, and she would take tomato hampers, you know, those tomato baskets, and go out on the back porch and stomp them down and break them up. And she would take 2 of these big round steel plates out of the top of that stove, and then one of them was kind of shaped like an H, and take it out, and you had a big old oval firebox. She'd put a tomato hamper in there, put some coal on it, you know, the black coal, and take some kerosene, woof, throw a match in it, woof, man, it's
I guess so.
a big
Yeah.
fire. And when it burnt down a little bit, she'd put those steel plates back on there, and that's how she cooked.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then in the end of the stove was a reservoir with
Right.
about
Yeah, I
10
remember
gallons
that.
of water in it. And as she cooked, the oven, of course, heated up, and the reservoir heated up and warmed the water. So if you wanted, you know, to shave or take a spit bath, you dip water out of that warm side of the oven, you know, and that's how you used it in a wash bowl. There was no water in Grandma's house. There was electricity, but no toilet, no running water. If you wanted water, you went out on the back porch and pumped it into a bucket and then brought it back in the house.
Who would take out the clinkers out of the stove?
Grandma,
Grandma did that too.
yep, Grandma did that.
What are clinkers?
If you
Clinkers are after the coal burns down, it leaves a clinker.
yeah,
A real hard,
Little scraps.
yeah, a real hard thing.
cinders.
Yeah, so you had to reach in there and grab those things and
Wow.
put them outside the bucket and put.
Yeah, she had like a coal bucket that was round and had kind of a scoop front on it, and she had a shovel. You put them in the bucket, and when it snowed back there, they'd take this ash and throw that out so you wouldn't slide around. You know, I mean, it'd put it on top of the snow and the ice to keep from slipping. Take the ashes out.
Oh God, I know.
And then I was supposed to hold it, and I couldn't stand it, and I let it go.
Yep, that
And
would be
boy,
me.
was I in trouble. That was our dinner that night, you know.
Then they had to
Oh.
pick all the feathers off.
Yeah, oh yeah, and those things stunk. Ooh, crap.
The
Oh, really?
feathers?
Yeah.
No, my grandmother would put it in hot water.
Yeah.
Oh.
For starters, she would go out there and take a coat hanger with a kind of a hook on the end. And she'd go out in the chicken pen, you know, and grab one of those things by the foot, you know, and she'd grab it by the feet so it couldn't do anything, and she'd grab it by the head,
Oh God.
right at the neck, and she'd go,
Yeah.
and that body would fly off, and she'd throw the head down, and the body's jumping all over the yard. And finally it would
That's what
stop,
Mother
and
told
she'd
me.
go in and put this chicken in a pot of hot water, real hot water, and then pull the feathers off of it.
Yeah.
And then after that, she sat there and plucked the pin feathers off, you know, the little baby feathers.
Yeah.
And then she got the thing and cook it for Sunday dinner. And I remember one time she told my mother, Jean, go out there and get a chicken to wring its neck. My mom said, okay. She goes out there, got the chicken all right, grabbed it by the head like Grandma did, you know, and started swinging the body around. She didn't have a hold of the head real good, and the chicken spun in her hand, and all the feathers came off the chicken's neck, and she let go of it, and the chicken's running crazy through the yard. Boy.
Of course, looking
So,
for a way out.
My
Yeah.
grandmother went and got another chicken and told my mother, you cut the head off that chicken. Well, my mother went out there, and I can see it today. She took a piece of wood and she put the axe handle over the chicken's neck, down on the wood like this,
Yeah.
and pulled with the legs and pulled the chicken's head off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Or they get it